Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Nikola's vlog. And we started the week off. Things were a little rough last week. He had minor surgery we had to recover from, had some GI tract issues that he's now resolving. His training has gone much better the current week. This is last week's stuff, so he's kind of bouncing back. We're finally good. It was a rough week. We ended up getting like 140 kg on the incline bench. We changed his programming a bit. We've gone back to a normal conjugate, but with normal back squats for speed squats. Again, heavier supplemental work, kind of looking at his training history and notes of where he's done his best and then programming accordingly. But we're doing some heavier pause benching on this day, on the max effort day. So again, nice heavy pause benching down in the 5 to 6 rep range, mainly because he just gets so burned out on rep work for the upper body. He's not comfortable with a lot of it. So that's what we're doing. So we're doing that. We're going back to lifts that he's gotten a lot out of and just programming them with the sort of programming I run. Because his benching has been really rough for the last couple months. Again, we've had a little bit of setbacks there. Whereas in his deadlift has climbed, right? Deadlift has been really good to say the least, right? We've been super happy with it. In fact, we just did a pretty easy 300 kilogram deadlift this week. So that's coming along nicely. So here for the upper body, after the pause benching, we're doing seal rows, and then we do Larson presses. And of course I have some band work and stuff in here that we're not always seeing. I have him do band work for triceps. We're kind of at a point for him where we're just doing a lot of heavier pressing, press variations. Then we do band work and then lots of back work. All right, we do lots of back work. So here he's doing a Larson press, which again is just feet off the bench. And I'm okay with this lift more and more. This used to be a lift that I didn't like. I've messed with it with some clients. I do use it for some clients now, not necessarily for everyone. I think it has its place for people definitely with chest weaknesses if they're going to be smart about it, right? They put their legs out enough that we can keep good balance on the bench. Perfectly reasonable. What I don't like is when people put their feet up on the bench on something like that. I think it's just an injury waiting to happen, potential imbalances, pec tears. So here he did a back squat. We ended up only doing, I think this is 210. It felt rough this week, but he felt bad about it, and I reminded him, you just got out of surgery. Okay, it was outpatient. But, it's like, cut yourself some slack, brother, right? But that's the thing when you're dealing with champions like this. He knew we had some GI tract issues that had to be resolved. Doctor had to get involved after this. He just had a minor outpatient surgery, I think like 2 days, 3 days before this squat. And he's like, oh, this sucks. What's going on? It's funny. Like, it's like, well, I can tell you what's going on, brother. You're having some gut issues and you just had surgery. Again, cut yourself a little bit of slack. But he's a champion. He doesn't think like that. And this is where, as a coach, what people don't understand for me as a coach, I'm not always the cheerleader and motivator. I deal with a lot of highly motivated people that maybe need accountability, they need programming, they need to get their head straight. They need me to reel them in and put stuff in perspective. I tend to get lifters like this who will train themselves into the ground. They'll beat themselves into the ground because I want to win. Okay? And that can be a problem for fatigue management, everything else. They want to go 100% all the time. And if they're not in the red line or they're having a little bit of problems there, then they're beat themselves up over it instead of saying, hey, maybe my body's going through a lot. Maybe I need to recover. They don't like that answer. When you're dealing with champions, that's the norm. It's that I don't need to recover. I need to work harder. That's the problem. And coaches out there who work with lifters will laugh when they hear me say that. Those of you who are serious competitors, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And here he is doing some speed squats next. All right, we're doing our speed squats. Then we do speed pulls, and then a lot of hamstring work, a lot of good mornings. There's back work in here. He didn't always get it on film, but we are doing some lat pull downs, cable rows, stuff like that for additional back exercises, oftentimes on his lower days. Again, just strengthening those areas up, thickening them up. But here we did our speed squats. Now we're doing our conventional speed pulls, and then we'll finish up with, you guys will see some hamstring work and some good mornings in here. But speed pulls, I think he's doing hook grip for these right now, which I'm fine with if you compete with hook grip. A lot of my lifters, I like them to do mixed grip on these, or if they need to, hook grip. What I don't like is people to try to do double overhand. I get that. I'll catch my guys doing normal double overhand on speed pulls, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, well, it's light enough. It's like, yeah, but you're also losing speed and force production because you're trying to double overhand it. Hey, we need that grip held firm. So for those curious, I want to make that clear. When you see him doing this, he is in fact using a hook grip. Notice the thumbs are in. This is not double overhand. So you get people who are like, oh man, that's an overhand. No, it's not. We've caught some influencers doing that on YouTube before, talking about their grip, and you catch them hook gripping, doing a really quick hook and then pulling, and it's like, no guys, you're not going to trick those of us who know what we're looking at. It'll trick the kids who don't know any better, right? It'll trick the noobs who don't know any better. But just to make that clear, that is hook grip being utilized. Okay? And if you don't know what hook grip is, do a little research. It's where you push your fingers over your thumb. Very common in Olympic lifting. It's considered almost necessary for Olympic lifting. Barring maybe some outliers, right? Rare outliers. Of course, here we're doing our good mornings. He's very, very strong on these. We're usually in that 3+ plate range, in some cases 4 plates. I'm not sure what I think his best have been. I think he's reached 4 plates, 410. But we go very heavy on good mornings. They're a very, very essential exercise for what he does. They're a big part of our programming for him, particularly when we don't have access to a lot of the certain machines that I might like, glute ham raises, reverse hypers, those things. Good mornings start to become pretty much essential exercise. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.